Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I started posting autism-related content to this channel about 2 years ago. So this was actually brought up by some people while I had asked everyone for some ideas that they would like to see done on my channel in the form of videos. And people had mentioned that they would be interested in hearing me basically reflect on my 2 years of making autism content, and since it has been 2 years and a week since then, I thought that that would work and be appropriate for now. So I guess today you're gonna get a little bit of channel history. I actually started this channel a long time ago just as a user account to be able to comment, and then I had uploaded a video that got a lot of views. It was a lyric video rather, to someone's song, and it blew up, and then I just decided to use this account to start my YouTube stuff. I had a lot of different things I'd like to talk about, and when I very first started, it was a weight loss journey type of stuff and getting fit or whatever, and Christian topics because I'm a Christian, and kind of just some other random stuff that I enjoy doing. And I can't remember exactly, but I had set apart an entire month, I think it was the month of September, and I wanted to have a video for, I think, every week. I don't know if I did it once a week or twice a week, I don't remember. I just know that I had this whole plan set out, and I was really excited about it, but it was a rough start. I mean, I'm not intrinsically the most interesting person on the planet Earth, you know? I don't know, I think there was something about setting the precedent for myself about constant content that kept me going, and I continued. And after I got my autism diagnosis, I made a video about it in which I simply shared that I was indeed diagnosed with autism, and I promised that this channel wouldn't be taken over by autism content. I apparently lied. I'm sorry. So from the very beginning, I had waited until I had an official diagnosis because I didn't want to talk on something as a definitive if I didn't know for sure, and it just kind of got started from there. I was doing, I think, 3 videos a week, and so I would do something vloggy or something to do with the whole weight loss type of thing, and I would do something more Christian stuff, and then I would do a video a lot of times about autism. These videos weren't super in-depth by any means, and while I really wanted to share about autism because I felt so strongly about it as a part of my identity, I wasn't sure how long that was gonna last. You know, I wasn't an autism expert, right? I was just someone who apparently actually was autistic, and I was trying to learn some things. I had learned a lot of things through research trying to figure out if this was really something that could possibly pertain to me, and I shared personal experiences, whether it was the diagnostic journey or really getting it to the point of going for a diagnosis. Apparently, I haven't in a separate video yet talked about my diagnosis and how that worked. Actually had thought I had, but it was kind of intertwined with a different video, which apparently has confused some of you, so I will not too long from now be talking about specifically how I got my diagnosis. But in general, it was stuff about I think one of my earliest ones was how to avoid overwhelm, and I got to do a really cool video with a company that gave me a weighted blanket to review, which was really cool. I really love that blanket. As I kept going, I think I just became more and more passionate about this part of me and being able to share that with you, whether it was helping other people discover more about themselves or just, I don't know, sharing something I learned, because I like to research information and research things. I think you may have figured that out by now if you watch my channel a lot. There's really nowhere for that information to go if I don't express it through this, for me personally. People in my average everyday life really don't care that much about the kind of things that I research. Over time, I decided to split my channel into 3. This was partially due to feedback and partially due to a suggestion from a fellow creator as well, because I was basically trying to juggle 3 different audiences on one channel. Wasn't working out so great. I had people who just wanted to hear Christian content, people who were just interested in my autism content, and a very minute few who actually even cared about my vloggy weight loss journey type of stuff. So I decided to go ahead and split them apart so that way I could focus on one audience per channel, which I think has been much more useful for everyone so they don't have to see videos that they don't really care about. And I also didn't want people to feel like they had to, you know, agree with my religion or have the same beliefs or views that I do to be able to watch videos about autism. So I have separated those apart. I have them linked on my main channel page thingamajig where it has the featured channels and in my about section. If you're ever bored and you want to check those out, feel free to do so. In fact, even though I think my 3rd channel that I typically call my kind of vlog channel is probably the lowest maintenance type of video, whatever, I do think it actually might be the most interesting to a lot of you who want to see more of me just as me who I am, just being me, rather than necessarily all the researchy based stuff. So if that kind of thing interests you, I would recommend you check that channel out. It definitely, I think, would meet the desire that a lot of you have to just see me as a person more frequently and kind of see the random things I'm up to at random times. At the beginning of my understanding about autism and starting to make videos and everything, I had really gotten started into the community, especially through Twitter, of autistic individuals, and I started to feel like that was my place and that was my home. And then things happened and I found out that people are going to be people, even autistic people, and I had to learn the hard way that unfortunately everyone can have bad intentions and not everyone is open and kind and nice like they might claim to be. And I began to feel again out of place. I went into major research videos such as the Autism Speaks mini-series and then later on the ABA video that is super long, and I feel like those are some of my biggest accomplishments specifically here on this channel. Through these kinds of things where people have maybe come to know who I am, I have learned a lot about the community. I've learned about the concept of belonging and not belonging, and I really think that I would like to make our community here a place where people can belong and not have to necessarily fit in with like big name people or whoever kind of feels like they can speak for the entire community, and value each other's voices and realize that, you know, not everybody's gonna agree, and that's perfectly fine. I've definitely grown a lot, I feel, in regard to content, whether it's been on my research or my delivery or understanding how to kind of put things together and not ramble on for 500 years about random things, and really being able to connect with you guys as an audience and a community, and it's really meant a lot to me. I've been over time able to, you know, production quality, etc., because I've gotten lights and a camera, and like it's been super cool to me. I do feel a lot more comfortable now with my understanding of autism through the research that I've done and maybe interacting a lot with the community. I don't think that like I'm by any means some magical expert or anything other than obviously of my own experiences and perhaps a lot of the reasons why I experienced those things through, again, research-backed kind of information. However, I do feel a lot more confident to be able to speak with you all and tell you what I know, what I've learned, and I hope that through these videos you guys have been able to become a lot more educated about autism, whether it's relevant to you because you are autistic or you might be autistic, or you have a family member, a friend, coworker, who knows, who is also on the spectrum. I hope that this information makes us all you know, more aware of things and helps spark interest in you as much as it does in me. I think over these 2 years, I've definitely managed to find myself and my voice when it comes to things with the autistic community, when it comes to who I am as an autistic person. I think at the beginning, I was very interested in kind of finding my identity in a group, in that I would use phrases that I thought were supposed to be used, kind of like using person first language, for example. These things were presented to me beforehand as things that you're supposed to use in the special needs community, etc. And so I kind of adopted that, and then ended up in the autistic community online, finding out that all of that stuff is like practically shunned, and then adopting their words. And I finally think I've found my place where I understand a lot of the autistic community online's kind of perspectives, as well as maybe the more parent side of things. And I really am feeling that I've started to be able to stand where I want to stand. And whether that's not in total agreement or alignment with one group or another, I actually kind of hope that I don't completely align with any group, because I don't want my voice to be just melded into some mass group of ideas. I don't want to just parrot things that I've heard. I want to think for myself, and I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet, and I think I want to really encourage other people to be able to do the same. If you don't agree with the majority of autistic people online, that's okay. I think that we're all allowed to have our own perspectives about our own autism. I don't think that it makes a lot of sense for people to try to dictate to other people how they should feel about themselves or what they should say, etc. And I really hope that this is a place where people learn that not only are there different ideas, but that it's okay to have different ideas and perspectives, also while grounding those things in research and reality. As for going into the future, I don't know. I probably would have never been able to tell you that I'd be here in the way that I am 2 years ago. I didn't think that I'd talk that much about autism. I wanted to share my story, but I didn't think that I'd be someone that people would actually be like, oh, hey, I know you do autism videos. You know, like, that's not something I could have imagined or known that I would do deep dive research videos on things that have actually seemed to help a lot of people. So, you know, I have no idea, but I do plan on going into things that are important to me and to still continue to look into what I want to look into and share that information with you all. And I really hope that I can continue to contribute as an autistic creator, and whatever the future holds, I hope it's a good thing. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming along with me on this random trip down memory lane or whatever, this reflection of the last 2 years of autism content. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you'll continue to be with me on this journey as we continue forward. And yeah, let me know if you've been here for a while. If you were here before my channel even split to 3 different channels, if you like the way that I've been doing things recently, any of those kinds of things, just let me know in the comments below. I really love to hear all of y'all's opinions and thoughts and things that you like to express, and it really does make our community pretty cool. If you're interested in autism related content from me, you can hit that subscribe button. I do upload to this channel every Thursday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you to everyone who supports me here on YouTube as YouTube members, my patrons over on Patreon, and a special thank you to my Spaz Tier patron, Marie Johansson. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you're having a wonderful week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!